Tree Country 1330 WTRE 732 on this Thursday morning. There's no rain and it's somewhat warm outside.
Perfect.
Good morning.
Good morning, Emily, and happy Thursday to everyone in WTRE country. Another week.
Spring is coming. Spring's here. Like the grass is green. Did you notice?
I did. Lots of mowing happening out there. We got the first set of mowings done at City Hall Tuesday, I think. You know, that's always a good sign. First step in the year.
That's right.
But March is done.
It's over.
We had our wastewater team was talking about how much rain we had in March and the impacts that had on them on Tuesday as well. So it was a wet one, but we've made it. Now we're on to April when it rains.
When it rains a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe some storms. You know,
we'll see.
Tis the season.
You know, we've been pretty fortunate, really, for as much potential impact as it seems like we've had already this year, to have been not impacted greatly by many and any of them, really. So hopefully we'll just keep it that way.
That's right.
It's way easier, way less expensive for everybody involved, and we can deal without that.
We can.
That's right.
Very much so. Well, what's been happening this last week?
The last week has been, you know, it seems like over the last few weeks, it's been just a lot of internal stuff that everybody out there listening just probably doesn't really have much interest in, but it's just day-to-day operations for us. And it's been a little bit of a slow news cycle for the city of Greensburg, but our team's still working hard to, you know, make sure that we're providing all the levels of service that everybody would like and demand. You know, a couple, I guess we'll call them milestones. Tuesday was busy, actually, now that we keep talking about it. Tuesday, Donna Lecker's last day with us, so we had a retirement lunch for her, and some folks came from that had worked with her in the past, and some of her family, and some of our current team. So we had a good turnout for that, and really got to, you know, celebrate her 33 years of service with the city of Greensburg. So it's been great to get to work with her, and we're excited that she's, you know, entering the next chapter and gets to spend more time with the grandkids and Tim and everybody to do what she wants to do after spending a very long time with us, moving all over the city multiple times, fire, flood, all the above. So she's done it all.
She did. She experienced a wealth of information and knowledge throughout her career. So
yeah, and Dory Baker's going to step up and fill that role. She's been with us for 24 years, I think, already. So she's a long-term member of the team that has a great inner workings. She's got some really good ideas for, you know, some areas that we can maybe improve on, expand into, work with our teams. So this is the first time in 3 decades that our utilities have new leadership, both under the water and wastewater and in the billing office. So our team's new and engaged, but we've got a lot of years of experience already in those roles. So we're excited to see what's next for that.
It's kind of exciting, like with Dory being able to promote within, and someone's got the knowledge and just gets to step up.
Yeah, and her team that she's got with her now, some have been here a little bit longer than others, but again, they want to see her succeed. They want to be a part of the new, you know, Dory's time as the utilities manager, and we're excited for them, and they're really engaged. They want to be helpful. They want to look at ways that they can improve and ways that they can expand and build upon the success that they've already have. So I think we're in a good spot.
Congratulations to Donna. A lot of years put in, and happy retirement.
Main Street Greensburg did their annual meeting this week as well. I won't steal all of Allie's thunder. She's going to be putting some of that stuff out, and I'm sure she'll be at City Council for a presentation at some point in time. But, you know, that organization, I know we talk about the farmers market a lot, but they're really doing a great job of expanding their network, expanding, you know, they're limited to their district. So whereas Don Lowe's doing an amazing job at expanding and growing the Chamber of Commerce, Decatur County-wide, Main Street's district's a whole lot smaller, a lot more focused, a lot more targeted, but I think they have 120 businesses in the Main Street district. So there's a lot of opportunity there, not only with the business owners, but with building owners and with tenants, right? They work with all aspects of the ecosystem inside the Main Street district, but they've had a really great year. The farmers market, I think, has a record number of vendors signed up, if I remember that correctly, and we'll be getting underway here pretty shortly. We'll run all the way through mid-September, so they're going to bring back some of those Fourth Friday events. I think they've got 3 of those on the schedule for the year to bring in some other offerings, options, extended hours, and all kinds of things. So please be attentive and aware of that. But Main Street's had a really good 2025, and it was great to hear Allie give that report. And they've also hired we finally are back to having a part-time person assisting Allie. April Weirg's going to serve in that role a little bit, especially more in the fall when her youngest son gets into school full-time. But she's going to be a great asset for them, and a great local lady that is helping a great organization bring her skill set to the use there. And we're excited to see her and Allie work together.
There's a lot that happens with Main Street that you don't always realize that's going on. So
yeah, and because outside of the events, they do, there's the facade grant program, and they've got the energy improvement grant program as well. But they also do a really good job of like surveying businesses and being the point of contact, and helping fill in the gaps where needed, and resource availability. So yeah, they do a lot more than just host the farmers market. That's for sure.
Farmers market is coming. We're excited for that, and
that's right.
We will wait patiently.
Yeah. South Montfort Street is the gas line project closure there under the railroad. That is still closed. This, I think, about concludes week 1. So we've got at least 1 more week to go. I think they ran into a little bit of an issue early on, but I think they've got that fixed. I don't know that affects the timeline tremendously, but it looks like they're making some progress, which is they're going in. The CenterPoint Energy is putting in a steel sleeve under the rail so that they can put a new gas line under, or replace the gas line that's under the rail. So that's what they're working on there. It's really not something, we don't have anything to do with it other than it's an inconvenience for all of us because it's in the middle of the street and it's got it closed. But we'll just be attentive to that, and that's an easy one to get around while it's still under construction. But hopefully, maybe even by the time we're here next week, that'll be reopened. But we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
That's right.
It is the season for construction.
It is. Which actually is another good point with 421 South. We've talked about that a little bit a couple weeks ago, what impact that was going to have on the bridge. It's a multi-structure replacement project that extends all the way from 421 and 46 right here in the middle of town at Main Street there, sort of by Langen's Meats and Ameriprise, all the way down to Napoleon. So it's a big project. It's going to have a lot of different closures. It's going to have a lot of different style closures. The first one will be there by Heritage Hill, by the Dollar General, that bridge. It's a full deck replacement, and so they will be closing that in its entirety. The contractor has agreed to delay starting that by 1 week so that school can finish up before they close all that down.
It's very helpful.
It is very helpful. Sometimes you don't. We talked about this last week. Sometimes you don't realize how much traffic is generated by the school system and in and outs on very condensed timelines. So getting that taken care of, maybe not even so much just for the 421 impacts, but for the Wilder Street impacts that would be created by closing 421 Wilder Street's already pretty tough when school's going into session. And so this,
let alone rerouting the traffic.
Let alone taking all of the 421 traffic up it. So that will be positive, but so that's going to be mid to end May, whenever school's out, then that project will get started. So it's a little bit out, but that one's I think 60-day closure is the plan. And then we still aren't, or at least I'm not really sure yet, where we're at with what the closure looks like at the next bridge on down, sort of by Fairview Edition, there on 421. And then once we get beyond that, there's another one out, another bridge, and again, I'm not sure what their closure strategy is for it. Sort of just on this side of the landfill, there's 2 bridges right in there. And, obviously that impacts a lot of folks, even in the listing area, but the population center that is on the other side of the bridge at Sand Creek is on this side of those closures. So that's maybe a little bit more helpful, and folks can go over to Millhausen Road or Southwest 60 and come into town. So there's options then.
There will be. We just have to be patient.
That's right.
It has to be done. No choices.
That's right. It's good to always have, investments in our infrastructure, and we want to improve that. We want the state to improve theirs. So you just have to be a little bit patient.
That's right. Updates with Main Street and NDOT.
Yeah, that was some unfortunate news yesterday. So it's our understanding that Main Street, the Main Street project that the state of Indiana is doing on Highway 46, will be delayed by 1 year. They were supposed to be bidding it right now. It was supposed to go out for what we call letting, like right now. They've delayed that process until January of 2027. It is two projects. It is West Main Street from Ireland, which is like the speedway there, sort of near City Hall, from Ireland Street to the rail is a full reconstruct, and then from the rail all the way to the bypass is a pavement overlay. So we actually did some waterline utility work on West Main Street that was sort of outside the project, I think literally last week, in anticipation of them coming in and paving that this year. So we got our part done, I guess you could say, but they've delayed that until construction 27, which means if we're bidding it in January, maybe they can get started on it early spring and maybe get it done by end of 27. Seems like a big ask on the timeline specifically. And then the second project is East Main Street, which is sort of from 421 all the way out past the library, past Base Road. We all know that, and so then that is scheduled now for 2028. We all know that that's a rough section of road.
Yes.
It's in bad shape. The castings around sanitary and storm sewer inlets are failing in dramatic fashion. It's bad. I mean, I think everybody understands that. I do think part of our conversation with them needs to be like, what's the maintenance plan a little bit? I can almost probably guarantee everybody that they're not going to come in and do large-scale patching. It's probably just going to be, for lack of a better term, some asphalt shoved in a hole and packed down, just because they're not going to probably mobilize a whole crew. I could be wrong. I actually hope I am wrong. But 28's a long ways away.
It is.
For what bad shape that's in. And that's the part that I understand, everybody's got budgetary constraints, including NDOT. I'm not upset with NDOT about it. I mean, they have to do what they have to do. I just want us to stay on the list, which I know we are, and we are on the list. But I also understand the impact it has on people. I hear about it a lot. I drive that section of Main Street a lot.
It's frustrating.
It is frustrating. And it's a gateway to our community, too. I mean, we're bringing people, there may be first-time visitors or there may be everyday visitors coming into the city of Greensburg on East Main Street, and it is not the representation that we would love to have for our city. And so that's the part but we'll keep working with them. Maybe we can, they know it's in bad shape, too. I mean, that's why they're doing the project. But, they also don't have to necessarily drive it every day. So we'll work with them and see if we can get something, maybe a temporary solution. But it's probably not going to be a big enough delay to result in pretty significant improvements. It's just going to be another year of us having to deal with it. So
just tolerate it, and it will come.
Yeah. We'll see.
You have no control. There's no control on it. And
I mean, I understand they have their budgetary requirements they have to meet too, and they're doing other projects. It's, we talk about that all the time. I mean, if you want to pay less, you have to give up, a service. You can't just pay less and get more. Generally, that's not how that works. And with them, it's the same thing, right? In cost increases, labor increases, everything increases. The amount of money collected may increase or may not increase, but that still cost more to do. And, there's this whole discussion about the gasoline tax right now. I mean, there's a lot of road work funded through gasoline tax. It goes up and down based on the price, but then also fuel efficiency. You buy less gas if you have a 32 mile an gallon vehicle than you do a 12 mile a gallon vehicle, but yet your 4 tires on the road, have the same impact. And so I think there's probably the state of Indiana probably needs to have a real discussion about what that looks like as fuel efficiency improves. They do charge a fee for EVs that was computed multiple years ago as a conversion to the amount of fuel tax that you would pay, which is, I forget what the number is, but there's the average amount that you pay to have access to every road in the country is pretty minimal. Like if you think about that, like you have the entire national road network, including local streets and county roads for, a few
minimal,
$100s a year in gas taxes and other fees. So it is pretty minimal, but yet it's very expensive. They're very expensive to maintain. And especially when you're doing a project like Main Street or Park Road, or when we built Veterans Way, or any big improvement or any big construction project, the prices just are eye-watering. So I understand their predicament, but hopefully we can find a bit of a solution and make it a little bit more tolerable for a little bit longer.
All right. Tomorrow is Good Friday.
Tomorrow is Good Friday, which means our trash service and city offices and almost, I think, all governments are closed tomorrow. So just be attentive and aware of that. And we will do double trash on Monday. And, it's a Easter weekend, obviously. It's the Final Four weekend. It's all kinds of stuff going on this weekend in the Indianapolis area. So if you're interested in heading up for the Final Four stuff, they've got a lot going on.
It's busy up there. I was up there a couple weekends ago, and they're preparing for it. And goodness, there's all kinds of movement happening. So.
they've got it. I was at the State House yesterday, and the bracket on the JW is filled out. And I always think that's a fun feature for us and makes it so unique
it does.
for all the visitors. And they're coming to town because we have not only. I mean, obviously we all know about the 2 big games, but then there's all the other. D2s, D3s, NITs.
Yeah.
So that's all going on this weekend. But yeah, tomorrow is a holiday for us, and I think about every other government agency. So just keep that in mind.
All right. I think it's next week, the Opportunity Expo for 7th graders?
Yeah. So that's a fun new event, I guess you could say. So the Greensburg 7th graders are going to come over to City Hall, and we're going to do sort of a little bit of a stripped down version of the big Opportunity Expo that we do, that the EDC does out at the field house with all juniors and seniors across the county. The junior high, it is, I'm not even out of school that long, and it's amazing how much younger and younger and younger we're still starting the conversations about career readiness and preparedness and, thinking about more than just Algebra 1, right? More about what options are there. So they've reached out to us and asked that we help them host sort of like, I think it's kind of going to be like a cross between Reality Fair, if you remember those, or Reality Store, where you go and they take the little cards, and I think they do that in 6th grade,
I think it's 5th or 6th.
something like that, where you go and like how much does it cost to rent, how much does it cost to have a pet, how much does it cost to buy a house, a car, go on vacation. It's sort of like, I think, going to be a cross between that and the Opportunity Expo of like, look, here are some jobs that are available. Because, we have a very wide breadth. We have, Zach's construction management, all the way through, people that do accounting work and bookkeeping work and maintenance and, have licenses to run water plants and treatment facilities, and police officers that are drone pilots, and firefighters that are rope and hazmat technicians, and then everything in between. So we have a very broad group of people that work on our team. And, there's becoming more and more and more technology in that. We have robotic cameras, and we have the robots for the police. Our wastewater team has a robotic camera. So there's a lot of science in our labs, for water testing. So we're going to work with the 7th grader the 7th grade group reached out to us about hosting sort of like a mini op expo for them. So we're going to do 2 groups on that on Friday morning. I think something kind of fun. They've got a bingo card that they have to go and ask. They have to ask all these questions to the different departments to then, get their bingo card filled out, so that there's a opportunity for them to engage and also help prompt some questions, right?
Absolutely.
7th graders may not know what to ask the wastewater guys.
It encourages that conversation to happen. That'll be exciting.
Should be a
neat
lot of
opportunity too.
Yeah, and it's something our team's really good about stepping up, and we could all say no, we're busy, we don't have time for that. But I think our team really sees the value in making sure, and I know that I do, making sure that our youth in our community see the city as a partner and someone who wants them to succeed. And if they choose to be a part of our team, that's great. If they choose to be a part of somebody else's team in our community, that's great. If they choose to go off and do a 2, 4, 6, 8, 12-year education and enlistment in the military, whatever they choose to do, and want them to come back and say, the community invested in me, they cared about me, they wanted to help me. And so I think there's a lot of value that is driven from that. It's more than just answering cards on a piece or questions on a piece of paper. It's really about showing them that we care about them, that we want them to be successful, we want them to learn. And then also, some civic education always helps, of how does it work, and who's who, and where's where, and what does what. Because we run into a lot of questions all the time with just the different levels of government, and how something works and how something doesn't work, and trying to explain that, and that becomes quite challenging sometimes. So if we can get started early, that's even better.
I think too, at that age, you know enough to know that government is happening and that people are in these different places and there's different careers, but you're still trying to learn what that looks like and what it means. You may hear parents talk, or you may hear the news, but you don't always put those two things together. So.
I think that's incredibly fair. And I talk to all grade levels. I've done everything from first grade through, seniors and college kids. You really got to, obviously in 4th grade is when they study government. And so it's challenging to make connections to kids that are under the age of 4th grade about what we do. At least you can get into the 3 branches of government and how those apply and what we work on and then what we oversee. There's a little bit more of a concept for the construction construct. And that is very helpful. So yes, 7th grade's a great opportunity. They're starting to look at, they understand, schools have, superintendents and principals and vice principals, and then you have the administrative staff and teachers. And they understand that there's a structure to that even versus just, well, I don't know, I have a teacher. Well, yeah, but you also have, and you have, and you have. So it should be good. It should be fun. So new thing for us, and we'll see. Hopefully it goes well. I appreciate the 7th grade group at the junior high here reaching out and asking us to be a part of it.
Very good. Well, as we move towards spring and summer, you guys will be having your community night outs. Those are coming up.
Yes. I think, I don't know. I think we've announced the dates for those, but we are going to do 3 this year outside of the big events, like the National Night Out, and obviously the fair and the Fall Festival. Those are the ones that we typically do, obviously, but the other 3 are going to be out in communities, and I guess I don't have the dates for those readily available, but we are going to do that. We're changing it up a little bit this year, but not really that much. And then, of course, Night Out will be our big one in August. That will be the 3rd Thursday of August. And we'll see what kind of fun activities we can get planned. We've obviously had helicopters in the past. We've done the dogs. We've done we did a full kind of auto extrication response last year, which was really well received. So, yeah.
That's always a big night.
It is, yeah. And our team does a really good job of putting all that together, and sponsors and donors that allow us to help put it on. And all of our partners that come and set up booths and tents and have things for kids to do and engage with is, again, very important for our community, I think. So hopefully we'll get at least one. The helicopters are always big attractions, whether that's medical or we've been really fortunate the last 2 years that the Indiana State Police have brought their helicopter down, and Greensburg's very own Anthony Scott's the state police superintendent. So hopefully we can have some pull there and ask him if he can help us with that. And we love having him. And so it'll be good. It'll be fun.
Right. Any news on Freeland Road?
No news on Freeland Road.
News.
We do have, I guess, it just seems like it's a construction update morning. So the west side of North Street and Walnut, so West North and West Walnut, are getting concrete work that's done. That's part of our CCMG application that we applied for again earlier this year, and we were awarded this time. So that is the curb ramps and around those spaces. There is no timeline for pavement yet. I think we are still a little early for asphalt plants to be opening up. It's very expensive to keep them hot. And so when they're not losing all their heat to the air is when they tend to be more interested in turning them on. So we will see when we get pavement asphalt plants up and running, then they'll get our CCMG work. It is the same contractor doing the CCMG work as it is that is doing Freeland Road. So we will see what that looks like. Fair warning, when the pavement goes down on Freeland Road, there's probably not going to be any markings until the lining company gets here, which is not schedulable until after. I know, everybody. Emily rolled her eyes. Everybody out there listening. So if you imagine how bad Freeland Road is right now when there are some lines, imagine that it's just really big, flat.
It's going to be disastrous.
Yes.
Everyone needs to pay attention.
Pay attention.
All of those things, but
they will not make your Starbucks order until you get in there unless you've ordered it on the app. So just don't cut off the person coming the other way. And if you're trying to get on the bypass, please just stay on the right side of the road. Don't drive on the left side of the road trying to get to the front of the line to turn left. If you're trying to get to Zaxby's, go the other way.
That's right.
It's going to be a mess. But we'll get there, and then we'll get all new lines, and it'll be great. Then everybody stay inside the lines. Stay inside the lines.
And we'll hope, right?
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's what will happen. Any other construction or anything on the forefront with spring coming? I think we've covered the majority.
I think we've hit it all. Like I said, it's been a little bit of a slow internal news week, but those are the things that seem to be the most pressing and of the most interest. So I think that's it.
All right, that's exciting. When we've got spring, first mowings have happened, all of the good stuff. So it's here. Summer's coming. Yeah.
Code enforcement's on its way up. We've already seen a pretty substantial uptick in reports. The Greensburg Citizen Problem Reporter is available again on our website, new and improved, much easier to use, and then that information goes out to all of the departments as necessary when it's reported. So go take a look at that. We've had a lot of folks reporting, vehicles that have been parked on the street for a long time, junkyard trash, overgrown brush, etc. So.
And you really can report anything on.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, potholes, all the above. So, take a look.
Utilize it. That's what it's there for.
That's right.
All right. It's 8 o'clock here on Tree Country 1330. We'll see you next Thursday.
Thanks. Bye.